Welcome to Animania Chronicles, where we dive deep into the captivating worlds of anime, dissecting stories, unraveling characters, and sharing our passion for all things animated. In this video, we'll start our in-depth review series on the rising of the Shield Hero. Join us as we explore the beginning of Naofumi's journey, from being summoned to a new world to facing unexpected challenges. Let's uncover the epic start of this captivating anime adventure. Naofumi was a guy who wasted all of his life playing video games and gambled all of his family's life savings away. While he was reading fan fiction at the library, a mysterious book began glowing before his eyes, teleporting him to another world. In this new world, a group of mages had attempted to summon him along with three other individuals: Ren, the sword hero, Motoyasu, the spear hero, and Itsuki, the bow hero. After the mages introduced them to the king, he explained that they were summoned to save the world from the waves, swarms of monsters that would destroy the world if the four cardinal heroes did not stop them. To aid them on their journey, the king gathered the strongest warriors to join their parties, but not a single one joined Naofumi's party. Realizing that he would struggle without the ability to attack monsters with his shield, a girl named Mine offered to join Naofumi's party. Because he only had one party member, the king gave him more coins than the other heroes, and they all began their adventure. After destroying all the slimes in the field, Naofumi began absorbing all of their remnants, allowing his shield to level up. Before finishing the day, Mine took him to the blacksmith where he tried to wield a sword, but his holy weapon blocked him from using it. Instead, Mine suggested he buy some cheap armor since his shield would protect him, while she bought the most expensive armor in the shop and promised to pay him back. Naofumi, trying to be generous, took Mine to the fanciest restaurant in town where she encouraged him to drink grape juice with her and asked to spend the night. However, Naofumi politely declined as he only had a single bed in his room. He went to sleep, realizing he only had 200 silver coins left, which he decided to hide beneath his shield. The next morning, Naofumi woke up to find all of his equipment stolen. As he tried waking Mine up, guards surrounded him and brought him before the king. Mine accused Naofumi of assaulting her, hiding behind Motoyasu, the spear hero. Naofumi realized that Motoyasu was wearing his chainmail armor, which Mine had given him as a present. Motoyasu believed Mine's accusations and condemned Naofumi. Confused and betrayed, Naofumi wondered why Mine would accuse him falsely. She smirked at him, revealing that she had been pretending all along to steal his money. Angry and feeling ruined, Naofumi demanded to be sent back to his world. The king denied his request, stating that summoning new heroes was only possible after the current heroes were defeated. Despite the disdain from others, Naofumi promised to defeat all the waves on his own. He threw off the guards, declaring he would never need their help. Before leaving, he threw his remaining money at Mine, and when Motoyasu tried to stop him, Naofumi dismissed him as too weak to be worth his time. As he left, a mysterious spy watched over him. With that, all of his money, respect, and trust were gone. Losing it all while traveling around town, all the citizens began avoiding him, and even the blacksmith was about to knock him out for what he allegedly did to the girl. However, after seeing the glare in his eyes, the blacksmith decided to let it go and instead offered him a robe, asking him to pay back whenever he could. All alone in the field, Naofumi began destroying all the slimes, punching them one by one until he finally gathered a pile of their skins and reached level 2. As he stared at the slime sadly, he wished he still had his phone to play the best RPG game of all time, AFK Arena. Although he hated the slimes of this world, his favorite slime, Rimuru, was going to be added to AFK Arena along with Shuna during the new collaboration event. With both of them being added as dimensional heroes, Rimuru could be added to your team as an intellectual mage to release his powerful DPS, while Shuna would be an intellectual support, allowing you to grow your team exponentially using the resonance system to create an army stronger than even Rimuru's village. Just like Rimuru's story of traveling to another world and becoming overpowered through his unique skills, you will also be able to grow rapidly and become powerful while playing AFK Arena. Additionally, this collaboration event will bring the 180 summon activity that will guarantee you an SP hero. If you ever wanted to jump into a game and become overpowered, all you need to do is log in every day to level up your team and slowly become the strongest gamer in this world. So what are you waiting for? Download AFK Arena through the link in my description to create the strongest team, and maybe you'll even find success without being framed like Naofumi. While traveling back through town to meet a trader, a merchant tried scamming him by offering only 1 copper coin for his 20 slime skins. However, Naofumi knew the merchant was selling them for much more to other adventurers, so he grabbed the merchant's face and threatened him, demanding a fair price. The merchant agreed, and Naofumi received the fair market value for his goods. The blacksmith back at his shop saw the 5 copper coins Naofumi had promised and continued his work. For countless nights, Naofumi slept in the middle of the field. Eventually, he found expensive herbs, and after absorbing them, he unlocked a new leaf shield. With his new shield, he could enhance the quality of the herbs. When he met a pharmacist at night, he was able to sell the herbs for a high price. With the money he earned, he bought the cheapest food he could afford. One day, 3 thugs ambushed him in an alley, demanding his money. Naofumi turned around and shoved the slime onto one of them while blocking the knife of another bandit with his shield. The 3 attackers ran away, but Naofumi realized he was powerless. He couldn't get stronger without killing monsters, and he couldn't kill monsters with just his shield. Seeing his frustration, a shady merchant approached Naofumi with an interesting proposal. The merchant told Naofumi to follow him if he was interested. As they walked back to the merchant's hideout, the merchant explained that he was offering slaves. He said that slaves would never lie or betray their masters because of the curse placed on them, ensuring they would always obey their owner's commands. As Naofumi looked through all of them, he saw a little demi-human girl who looked sick inside a cage. The slave trader told him that she was the cheapest slave he had, as she was both physically and mentally ill because her previous owner loved torture. Since she would likely die soon, the slave trader was willing to sell her for 30 silver coins. Naofumi decided she was going to be the one he buys. Inside the slave merchant's room, the trader drew a sigil across her chest, and Naofumi saw her status appearing as part of his party. Before leaving, Naofumi asked for her name. She replied, through fits of coughing, that her name was Raphtalia. He forcefully grabbed her hand and led her away. The trader was shocked that Naofumi had really chosen her, as if it were destined by fate. Once again, inside the blacksmith's shop, Naofumi gave him 6 silver coins for a weapon that Raphtalia could use. He told her to draw her knife and attack the slime hiding under him. When she was too scared to react, he activated her curse to force her into submission. She rushed forward to stab the slime but was too weak to deal any damage. Still, Naofumi encouraged her to try harder, and when she rushed forward again, she managed to blow up the slime, gaining XP. As she sat on the floor, he told her that she would become his sword as he protected her. They left the blacksmith to go to a food place. When they went inside, he asked for the cheapest food and requested the same food for Raphtalia as the kid behind her was eating. When she wondered why he would get something for her, he told her that it looked like she wanted it. When she got the food, her eyes lit up, wondering if she could really eat something so nice. Tears began flowing through her eyes as she ate, but Naofumi realized that he still couldn't taste anything. Later that day, they began farming the slimes once again. Once they were done, Naofumi's shield began leveling up. At the same time, Raphtalia wondered who he was, so he told her that he was the shield hero. Upon hearing those words, she remembered her family asking her who her favorite hero was, and when she said it was the shield hero, they were glad, as he was the only one who ever treated demi-humans kindly. When she asked for his name, he told her it was Naofumi and handed her medicine to cure her sickness. Although it tasted horrible, she drank it. Throughout the night, Raphtalia dreamed about the day her parents tried protecting her from a 3-headed dog and threw her into the ocean as they were devoured. Waking up screaming for her parents, Naofumi held her closely to calm her down. The following morning, the pharmacist told Naofumi that he'd make more money selling medicine instead of herbs, so Naofumi asked if he could borrow some of his tools. Outside the shop, Raphtalia watched a bunch of kids playing with a ball. Even though she pretended like she didn't want one, seeing her tail wag made Naofumi realize she was lying, so he decided to buy her one. Before nightfall, he tried buying a room, but when the merchant was hesitant, he threatened him until he agreed. As days passed, Naofumi kept taking care of Raphtalia, giving her medicine, and selling everything else they gathered. Slowly, they began diving deeper into the forest. When a rabbit appeared, Naofumi tried making Raphtalia stab it, but she didn't want to make the rabbit bleed. As her curse activated, Naofumi told her that he wouldn't be able to keep taking care of her if she couldn't attack, as the waves were going to destroy the world. When she heard that he was determined to defeat the waves, her resolve strengthened, and she charged towards the rabbit, ending it instantly. She told him that she wouldn't be weak and that she'd do anything to stay by his side. That evening, when they returned to the weapon shop, Naofumi decided to buy her a bigger sword to prepare her for tougher quests. The smith showed them a short iron sword, telling them that it was a perfect fit for her. Realizing he was fast returning to being broke, Naofumi decided to ask if there was a nearby village where they could earn some quick cash. Feeling sorry for him, the smith directed them to the nearest village. When they arrived in the village, Naofumi decided to sell his rabbit skin to a merchant and asked for directions to the nearest gold mine. The man told them that there was a coal pit nearby and said that Naofumi could make some good money from selling the ores inside. Inside a barn, Naofumi decided to check his stats on the system. Realizing his shield had acquired exclusive effects and skills, he decided to reveal this new ability. His shield transformed into a rogue shield. Looking to discover its full abilities, he cast an airstrike shield before him and was surprised at the sight of it. However, when Raphtalia appeared before him, he pretended like he was not impressed and suggested that they leave immediately. As they headed down the tunnel, Raphtalia wondered just what she could call them. However, Naofumi did not care and told her to call them whatever she wanted. When they were deep inside the cave, Naofumi began hammering the crystals. When he was done, he noticed that Raphtalia was shivering in fear and watched as a two-headed monster appeared before their eyes. Raphtalia realized that this monster looked exactly like the three-headed beast that had attacked her parents, and as the memories continued flashing across her mind, she was totally paralyzed with fear. As the beast hurried to devour her, Naofumi narrowly rescued her and dived into the water. As he tried climbing up the mountain, Raphtalia told him that a similar monster had eliminated her family. Naofumi realized that this was why she cried in her sleep every night. Before long, the beast appeared before them, and Naofumi realized that it was a level 15 monster. He told Raphtalia that this was her chance to avenge her parents. After saying those words, he charged at the monster. As he blocked one head with his shield, the second bit into his shoulder. Realizing he was about to meet his end, he told her to kill the beast immediately, but she was too frightened to even move. He tried commanding her, but she was still too afraid to stand. Realizing this was hopeless, he told her to run away before she was devoured and said that she would finally be free once he was dead. However, she remembered how her parents were devoured before her eyes and how Naofumi had saved her and been kind from the very start. Afraid of wandering alone for the rest of her life, she charged forward and stabbed one of the heads, but was flung aside. With the beast turning its attention on her, Naofumi cast a shield to protect her. Utilizing the opportunity, she stabbed it deep inside the heart, killing it instantly. At that moment, their experience points increased and Raphtalia rushed to hold him, happy to see him alive as she cried in his arms. Naofumi realized that she had chosen to call him by his name. After a few weeks, Naofumi had managed to upgrade his shield and unlock several skills and abilities. With the wave slowly approaching, Naofumi thought it was about time they upgraded their equipment. However, when they arrived at the weapons shop that evening, the smith began to wonder how Raphtalia had grown into a mature demi-human within a few weeks. However, Naofumi thought she had always looked like the same short, ugly rat and wondered why their village was filled with people hitting on her. Raphtalia began telling the smith that they came to buy armor for Naofumi. After he was injured by the beast, Raphtalia had decided to make it her life's mission to protect him at all times. So the smith told them that he would make new armor fitting only for Naofumi. That night, in a restaurant, Naofumi tried ordering a kid's lunch for Raphtalia, but she screamed at him, saying that she was now a grown woman and would only eat what the grown-ups eat. The following day, after wearing his custom-made barbarian armor, Naofumi noticed that all the people were gathered in the street, afraid of the impending arrival of the waves. When he wondered how they could predict the arrival of the waves, the smith told him to visit the city where he would find the dragon hourglass that would teleport them to the scene of the waves when the countdown completed. That evening, Naofumi decided to visit the church, and as he appeared before the hourglass, his shield directed a light towards it, and he realized that the waves would be arriving the following day. At that moment, the other heroes arrived, and Motoyasu wondered if Naofumi was still the same disgusting person they all remembered. Deciding to ignore him, Naofumi began to leave, but realized that Motoyasu was trying to score with Raphtalia and told her to be careful around him as he was known all around the city as a pervert. Angered by his words, Motoyasu confronted Naofumi, nearly knocking his teeth out but deciding to remain a non-violent protagonist and began to lead Raphtalia away. That night in their room, Raphtalia tried asking what happened between him and the other heroes, but Naofumi told her to mind her own business. Since he left the castle without a single soul believing his side of the story, he had decided never to speak of it again. The following day, as all the warriors prepared for the arrival of the waves, Raphtalia began telling Naofumi that she was proud to stand by his side as his sword. She told him that she would continue to be his sheath whenever he wished to rest his long sword and would stay by his side forever. As the remaining sand trickled down in the hourglass, the skies turned red, and all the heroes vanished into the forest. Before their eyes, the wave of catastrophe appeared in the sky, and before long, alien monsters began to invade the world. Raphtalia told him that the waves were heading for the village they visited a few weeks ago. Realizing no one else could save them, Naofumi began running towards the village. At the same time, the zombies had already invaded the village, but Naofumi saved a man from meeting his doom, and Raphtalia slayed the zombie instantly. With little time to spare, Naofumi told Raphtalia to evacuate the villagers and said that he would offer himself up as bait to lure the monsters away. As Naofumi ran towards the villagers, he punched a zombie, but his blow was softer than a 10-year-old's hand. He told them to run away from the village and offered to lead the monsters away. As he saved a villager with his airstrike shield, he protected another with a shield prison and continued running off with the monsters chasing him. He slid under a fire and re-emerged with the flame, eager and desperate. He tried drawing their attention with the fire as he began running off, thinking he was useless. Naofumi thought he was useless for choosing to fight for this world. When he grew exhausted, he realized that the monsters were just too many, so he thought of leading them to a tower. Using an airstrike shield, he jumped over a zombie and began climbing up the tower. At the top of the tower, he began smacking the bell to draw all of their attention. As they began climbing up, he decided to make good use of this chance and doused the tower with fuel, immediately torching it. As he jumped towards the ground, he tried catching himself on a stick but crashed right into a house. Before his eyes, he watched the whole tower light up in flames and crash to the ground. At that moment, the villagers returned to support him. One villager told him that they were determined to fight for their village, inspired by Naofumi's bravery. At that instant, a giant zombie tried to attack him, but Naofumi managed to protect himself just in time. As it turned its attention to the other villagers and tried to attack them, Naofumi blocked again, telling the villagers to run away because they were no match for this monster. At that moment, Raphtalia appeared, and working together with Naofumi, they managed to take down the monster. Immediately, flares began flying towards the sky, and as they exploded into light, fire started falling towards the village. Realizing they would be burned by the flames, Naofumi pulled Raphtalia and managed to protect both of them with his shield. When the knights arrived, having cast the flames, they were delighted that all the monsters had been obliterated from the village. Immediately, Raphtalia flew at the leader, but he blocked her sword instantly. She demanded to know why they tried to kill Naofumi and threatened to execute them in return. At that moment, several monsters appeared before the soldiers. Naofumi saved the leader from a fatal attack, and Raphtalia rushed towards the zombie and split its head apart. At Naofumi's command, Raphtalia began slashing, cutting, and slaying her way through the zombies before jumping high and slaying another giant. Meanwhile, on the far side of the forest, the other heroes began unleashing their powers on a monster lion as Motoyasu cast a lightning spear to slay it. With all the monsters destroyed, the skies cleared up in an instant. Having been away from the real battle, Motoyasu thought the wave was a mere cakewalk. Inside the village, everyone gathered to thank Naofumi for saving them from total elimination. The villagers tried telling him that he would always be their local hero, but he told them to move on. After they left, Raphtalia became sad, wishing her parents had been rescued the same way they managed to save this village from annihilation. As she began to cry, Naofumi tried calming her down. That night in the castle, as everyone celebrated their victory, Naofumi thought he was in a hellhole and would surely not have come except for the cash reward the king had promised to give out to the heroes. As Raphtalia walked past Motoyasu, he tried to meet her, but Mind stalked him and began whispering some very evil suggestions. Raphtalia appeared before Naofumi and tried persuading him to taste the food, but he told her that he would rather drink his own vomit. Before his eyes, he realized he had acquired a new ability, which luckily helped him to teleport with Raphtalia to the scene of the wave invasion. Just then, Raphtalia arrived with food, determined not to take no for an answer, and quickly gave him a taste of her cake. Seeing this, Motoyasu's jealousy began to grow, so he tossed his glove at Naofumi and challenged him to a duel. Mine had told him that Raphtalia was his slave, and he said that he intended to free her from her slave contract, even though he was only hoping to see her switch over to his side. Naofumi told him that it was perfectly legal to own a slave and began to leave anyway, but a knight stopped him and the king commanded him to accept the challenge. Realizing this situation had taken a bad turn, Raphtalia tried telling them that she followed Naofumi willingly, but a knight muffled her voice and the king said that she had been brainwashed. Realizing he was about to lose his only companion, Naofumi tried reclaiming her. But the knights drew their swords, determined to stop him as Motoyasu appeared before him. That's it for today. Stay tuned for part 2 of our Rising of the Shield Hero review series. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the vast realms of anime. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for more thrilling reviews and discussions. Until next time, keep exploring the boundless wonders of anime with us.